Come on, let me hear you say right now. Who you with? Reec. Who you with? Right now. Who you with? Reec. Who you with? Right now. Who you with? Reec. Don't turn up your radio. This gon' be your favorite show. So who you with?
That's right, we're back at it Tuesday. Got a very special guest in the building. About to introduce her in a second. Want to welcome everybody to the show. Broadcasting live from Media Campus West out here in Austell. The Reec Show is live. How you doing today, Miss Lady? You good? Okay, let's go ahead and give you your introduction.
It's all about that star power.
Stay tuned because you know Reec is going to have one of your favorite stars with him today.
Stay tuned.
That's right, man. Today it is part of another winning day because it's Women's History Month and you're a woman making history. So we definitely have to give you your flowers while you were here. We have Zuleica. Did I say it right? I did? Okay, now give myself the hype bell. I'm giving myself the hype bell today on this Tuesday because this is a very unique name. So I was hoping to do it right. And I wanted to bring you on the show today. You come from good company, Miss Deb. So, yep. So, and you're here with us today. So you got some good stuff going on. The Good Company, right? In Good Company, right? And you also have Renegade Femme for the Revolution.
Podcast.
Your podcast, and it is a wonderful podcast. You guys have some conversations, yes. Some real conversations that need to be had. But let's talk a little bit about your company first, like how you got started. You have such a peaceful voice.
Thank you.
It's giving me Sade.
Wow.
It is. Yeah. Smooth operator. All right. Let's go ahead and kind of introduce you to the world too, because you have this company, you do some philanthropic work. You also have your podcast and you just seem like a modern day Renaissance woman.
Wow. I wouldn't go that far.
I would. I'm going to do it.
Woman.
There you go. There we go. All right. Tell us a little bit about In Good Company.
Sure. Well, In Good Company just started officially in November.
Mm-hmm.
I've been freelancing and working independently for the last decade. My background's in corporate real estate marketing and design, and so I kind of parlayed that into a solo gig. And In Good Company is my way of creating a legacy for the work that I do and for how I want to do the work. So.
Okay, I like the name. How'd you come up with the name?
I didn't actually. I've always worked under my own name, and I've been floating around different, businessy type names, like branding names, because that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always harder to
do it for
like
yourself.
The cobbler that has no shoes. And so it was just thinking about where I wanted to take things work-wise, and I really wanted to have something that could expand beyond myself. And just one Saturday afternoon, just laying down and thinking it through, and it came up.
Yeah.
About the type of people I want to work with and the type of projects, and we want to be in good company, and it just fits so well. And I sat with it the entire weekend. I said, okay, if I don't change my mind by Sunday, this might be
it'll stick.
I want to go with, and it's stuck.
Right, that's pretty cool. Let me hit the bell for that. I like to have good ideas when I'm laying down. Usually just what I want to eat. That's what it ends up being. Let's talk about that too. You said you help with people with branding. So you have people that have their own dream and what they want to do with their companies, and then you come in and kind of, is it like fine tuning or how is it?
It's a little bit of both. A lot of the times that I meet people that have great ideas or a good idea, but they're not quite sure how to bring it to
fruition.
The world,
I got you.
And so a lot of conversations I have is about, here's all this, these ideas I have that don't really seem to fit together, and I want to get. Usually, I need a logo to go with my great idea, or 3 logos. And it's just in having conversations with people and figuring out what it is that they actually want to achieve. Like, what's the goal? I'm kind of a big picture, end of the story kind of thinker. And so I like to see the end and kind of work through the goals and then figure out how the branding fits into the goals that they want. I
got you. So you give me the end of the rainbow, and I'll work my way back.
I'll get you that pot of gold.
Okay, yes. I got you. I understand that. So what are some key things, if you can tell us? I know you get paid for this, but what are some key things that go into a logo design, and what are some elements that all logos should probably encompass?
All logos should probably encompass the idea that it's not the end all be all to your brand. I know a lot of consumers and clients on the end want the logo to really capture everything about their business, and that's not the point of a logo. It's just one piece of your identity.
Gotcha.
And your brand is really about how you present yourself to the world, the experience that people have with you, how your products or service are delivered, down to how you answer your phone.
Okay.
And,
So how should I answer my phone?
Well, I haven't called yet to hear what your
let's do a mock
your
call.
message
Yes, this is Reece. That's not it. That's not gonna get it.
Well, I mean, that could work for you because you
Right.
have a brand already, so that would work for you. So really, it's when I look at a question like that, like how should my logo look? It's really, let's take a step back and look at everything, and then kind of whittle it down. The logo is probably, and usually what I advise is that should be the last piece of what you do as far as your business. If you're not established, if you've already been established for a while, you know who your client base is,
Yeah.
you know who your audience is, you have a great product, a great service, and you just want to give it that, that image, that
That's a
polish.
little piece.
Right. Then we have something to work from.
Got you.
And we can do a little bit of background research and, really figure out if how you're presenting yourself matches
Right.
everything else that you do.
I got you. Does a presentation cross over to the colors of the logo, or does that kind of not matter?
Color is important because I think we subconsciously associate different emotions to color.
Okay.
And so when you study color theory, it'll kind of explain a lot of that. That's why like a lot of fast food restaurants are yellow or red or both, because it gives you the sense of urgency. You're not meant to sit there and kind of chillax. You kind of get your food, eat, and
Fast.
go.
Right.
And so yellow and red are usually those colors of like a little bit of sense of urgency. I think color is important in your look and how you want to be perceived. For example, if I walked in here and everything I have is pink, you would look at me and assume I only work with female centric, cutesy, popsy, candy color.
Makes sense.
Work.
Right.
And that's just the association that we make. But I walk in here in all black, and it's a different presentation.
Yes.
So in that sense, yes, color is really important.
That makes plenty of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Because I was looking at, I did a small amount of research on color association because I was trying to figure out why Walmart was blue and Target was red, and I was just trying to get an idea. So I think Target was trying to outdo Walmart.
Well, they all have one thing that's very much in common is they want to keep you there to buy the most as possible.
Right.
Walmart, of course, with their blue, blue is more of a trusting color. It's comforting, but they follow that same style the casinos have, where there's no window.
Yeah.
So you and the lighting is the same, so you lose sense of time.
Yeah.
And sometimes your senses. I know for sure when I go into Target, I lose all sense.
Yeah.
I go in for toothpaste and then it's
Come out, you got a cart full of stuff.
2 hours later.
Right.
But at least they make their carts normal size versus Walmart that gives you that extra big. And that's another
part of marketing.
That's how they
crazy.
get you. That's subconscious.
That I could fit more stuff.
Yes.
Wow.
So you buy more.
Let me find out all the tricks of the trade.
Oh, there's so many. Like the pricing, when you use something that's $2.99 versus $3.
Yeah.
Subconsciously, you associate that with being less.
Right.
Even though it's only a penny less.
Right. It's less than.
Yeah.
Right.
I studied a little bit of psychology when I first started university, so it's little things like this that I'm still a little bit of a geek about.
Yeah.
Because I find it really fascinating how easy it is to trick our minds into things. So.
That's cool.
Kind of a little bit of a divergent from what we were talking about, but
no,
it's
all part of what you do.
Yeah,
it's all part of what you do.
Yeah.
I told y'all she knew what she was talking about.
I do a lot of psychology as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of, especially with newer clients or those that call for I have an idea, I need a consultation, can you just give me some advice? And it always turns into like a therapy session.
Really?
So, yeah.
You got to get a couch in your office now.
Yeah, a little creative therapy. I actually do. My home office, I have a little couch there. But I don't have clients come in there. It does turn into some really fascinating conversations with people.
I can believe it. This has turned into one fast. Because I was like, wow, there's a lot that goes into the thought process behind helping someone grow. And you take it very seriously. So we appreciate that, as business people around the world would.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I have to, because I learn a lot about myself through that process. Like right now with In Good Company and wanting it to be something that's bigger than myself, where I'm able to bring in an employee or two, have some interns come in. I have my kids work in it,
right.
do small things, but they can get paid and have a job.
Okay.
And so, in working with other people, it helps me think through what my own process is.
Gotcha.
And, again, going into just how I do things, like what's my brand, what's the experience that people have with me.
Yeah.
And, when someone new comes in, it gives me an opportunity to kind of fine tune my own process, because I realize how relaxed I am in my business, because a lot of the people I've worked with for years. So they'll just call me up or send me a text like, hey, I have this project, I need your help.
Yeah.
I can hit the ground running.
Right.
Because a lot of the work I do is still in commercial real estate, which is what my background is.
Gotcha.
And so with someone new, it just reminds me like, oh, they don't know how I work.
Right.
So I have to kind of walk them through the steps of, here's the contract. It's just, it's not super tight. It's just more of, here's the process of what you can expect to work with me.
Right.
Yes, I do expect you to pay me. That's
Right.
number one. You'd be surprised how often that happens.
People don't expect they have to pay you for what you do.
They don't expect that.
It's a service.
Yeah.
That's weird though. When you have a business of service, sometimes people don't expect that they have to pay, and I don't understand. It's like, just like if I go into Kroger, like we talked about, or go into Walmart, I know if I have a cart full of things, I have to pay for those things. Right. So why wouldn't a service be the same thing? Because you had to work to be able to create that service.
Absolutely. Yeah, I take on a lot of my own expense in order to be able to do it. I have to pay for my software, my computer, my electricity, my internet, all of that costs money. It costs money to be in business.
Yeah, and the time, the learning.
Exactly. Yep. The time and
experiences.
And the mental energy that it takes to do creative work. There's a lot that goes into it. And so
it sounds like you take on a lot of other people's stresses too, because they're trying to get their businesses to a successful level or a different level. And they're kind of dependent upon your knowledge to do that. So how do you stay sane within that process?
It's kind of, I don't know. I don't know if I do stay sane through it. You are right though. I do take on a lot of the stresses. Like one example, I just finished a project last week where his client is kind of hounding him like, we have to get this out like ASAP. But the process of the work is not quick. We're dealing with a lot of financial information. You can't really make a mistake. So you have to take your time and go through it. And then I have to translate all of that into a beautiful packaging to be able to put out in the market. And when you have your client is under pressure, they're going to put that pressure on you.
Of course, yeah.
And there's only so many things that you're in control of. So it's just really understanding that part of my job is to stay calm. If I freak out, if I get too stressed out about it, and I tell them, or I can be stressed out.
Right.
No one will ever know.
You seem very calm.
I'm not though. I'm so nervous right now. Like
nobody can tell. That's part of your branding.
Yes.
Right.
I think it is. That kind of became part of my personal branding because I've heard this throughout my career, how calm I am. And part of that is because my work training was in a stressful environment. It was a lot of hurry up and wait, and then at 5 o'clock you find out that something needs to be delivered by 9 a.m.
And this is real estate. Right. So I understand things change at the drop of a dime.
Absolutely.
Or closings at 3, and then they say, oh, we can move it up to 1, and now it's next week.
Yeah, absolutely. And I worked in commercial real estate, so we're dealing with institutions and heavy hitters, like projects that are $500 million out on the market.
Wow.
So there's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of people, and then when you're kind of on the bottom of the rung, but everything is dependent on how quick you move,
right,
and how well you move. It's
That's
a
high
little bit
pressure.
of pressure. Yeah,
a little bit. That's a
Yeah.
lot of bit.
You have to learn. You have to learn to be okay. You
Uh-huh.
can't be that person that's like freaking out and everything is a fire,
Mm-hmm.
because everything that can go wrong when you need it to not go wrong will go wrong.
Right.
The printer will not work.
Yes.
Your paper jam that nobody can figure out.
The internet has gone out suddenly.
Exactly.
Right.
The internet's gone out. We're out of paper, and just weird things. And so you kind of have to be able to roll with it and
Yeah.
stay calm, and because you're working with other people, and it's almost like a domino effect.
Yeah.
When one person is high strung and stressed out over everything, it filters down. And I
Right.
think, as you said, part of my brand is to be calm
Yeah.
and just stress on the inside.
Right.
When it's all done and everybody's out the door, then you can sit on the floor and cry for a little bit. But when you're in it, you just kind of have to push through
Right.
and make it happen.
Wow, that's amazing. Let me hit the hype bell for that. Everybody can't do that. I'll tell you that, especially when you're dealing with those types of implications, that type of money, and then you have, like you said, each piece is relying on somebody else, but it has to almost go through you. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
I get it. All right, let's talk about this podcast.
Oh,
because it
goodness.
seems like the podcast may be a form of that release, because you get
Yeah.
to talk about things in a free and open space.
Yes.
Okay, how'd you come up with this name? I like this name.
Renegade Femme. It's a long story. Back in 2017, I started. I was freelancing from home, and I had 2 little boys. I think one was in day school, and the other one was just trotting around.
Wandering
And
aimlessly through the house.
I've never not worked, and so it was tough for me to kind of be home, and so that's kind of how I fell into freelancing full time, and I was just trying to broaden my skills, and I started taking this public speaking class. Not in the public speaking realm. It was just more to kind of learn a little bit more confidence. I never had any hopes and dreams of being a speaker. It was just something that it came to me, and
Right.
it looked really cool, and so I did it. And I remember one day kind of listening to one of the courses, and there was a topic on a book that was called Renegade Beauty. And I was like, oh, I really love that. And immediately Renegade Femme for the Revolution came to mind, and I wrote it down.
Yeah.
And I remember chatting, I was online, like a little chat group that my friends and I have, and I told them about it. I said, hey, I don't know what if ever I'm going to do anything with this, but I'm putting it out there because I want this to kind of stay in the ether.
back, yeah.
Right. Never realizing like I was going to do anything with it.
Wow.
This past year, on a long drive, I was meeting some friends for a hike, and I just kind of went on this like
Tangent.
yeah,
I
the
do that a
stream
lot.
of consciousness. And I said, this is it. This is the thing. I feel like, there's so many conversations we're not having, even when we are, as women, a group of us together, which is, we never can have a
Yeah.
solid conversation when there's more than 3. It just turns into
It
craziness.
branches. Is that okay?
Right. And there's always these topics that are important, but
Yeah.
you never talk about them, and then you don't see them anywhere
Right.
else. Maybe someone else is having them, but it's not us. I said, you know what? Maybe this is the thing. I wanted an outlet to force myself to do something that's really uncomfortable. Hearing myself is one of those things.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, me too. Believe it or not, I don't like hearing myself.
Yeah,
at
I
all.
believe it. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm like that. Because I get all the time, like, you have such a nice, soft,
Right.
comforting voice. I'm like, oh, unless I have to hear it back in a machine, it's just awful.
Do you know it's you when you hear it back?
Do I what?
Do you know it's you when you hear it back, when you hear your voice? You can recognize it automatically?
Yeah.
I don't always know it's me.
Really?
Because I still sound 12 in my head when I speak. So I sound like a kid. But when I hear myself back, I'm like, ooh, I sound like a grown man.
Yeah. No, there's little things about the way that I talk that I absolutely hate. And so when I hear it back, I'm like, I'm cringing. It took me, I would not post that first episode.
Really?
I had it, yeah. I
It
had
sounded
for 2
good.
weeks.
I liked it.
The whole time I'm sweating through it. Like, it was awful. It was so bad. But I had to do it, and the probably the only reason I did do it is because I had to hold myself accountable, because I invited somebody else to be on it.
Got you.
And that was the only way that I was ever going to be able to do something.
You tricked
like this.
yourself.
Yeah.
You tricked yourself into doing the podcast.
Exactly. If
I
I
love it.
have someone else, and now I'm being held accountable because it's for them. I
Yeah.
have to put this out. I set this expectation,
Mm-hmm.
so now I have to deliver. So that was my way of forcing myself to do it. Because if it was just up to me, I would have never done anything like this. I'm still not sure that I'm gonna keep going with it.
You got to keep going now. What are you, 6 episodes in?
8.
Yeah, you gotta
episodes.
keep going.
I think 6 is published. I have 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 that I haven't published yet.
You got to get them out.
Yeah.
You got to put them on out there. Come on.
Well, now you've put this out here, so I kind of have no choice.
She's putting out 3 more episodes soon. You guys get ready.
Well, there's a part 2 to a part 1, and I got a lot of flack for that this past weekend. Like, we're all sitting here
Right, waiting.
for,
Yeah, everybody's on the binge era now. We want it now.
yeah. All right, I'll put it on the schedule, and we'll talk about. I do have a lot more to talk about. I think
There we go.
I've been kind of getting some requests to do more personal ones.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of maybe at some point actually introduce myself on the podcast. I've yet to do that. So I always said, I'll come back and do like a little
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
trailer and like tell people who I am. But everybody that listens already knows me. So,
Right, there you go. I mean, there's more people listening than you know, and then you can just post this. Now they know who you are.
yeah. But it's fun. It's a great outlet. And I think I do have some good guests lined up that have some interesting things to talk about.
Okay.
One of my friends, I won't name her just in case she doesn't make it out. I kind of do want to out her because I want to force her to reschedule.
To come. We got to put her on the spot. We won't name her. We'll just say her initials and what she does and who she is.
She might
And
want
her
me to name
birthday
her
and
because
zodiac
she's-
sign.
Yeah. She's big on Instagram. She's got
Okay.
It actually would be great for her business since I do a lot of branding and helping clients.
Mm-hmm.
She's a real estate agent out on the east side of town.
Okay.
And so, anyway, she is one that I'm really excited to have come on the show. She was scheduled, but unfortunately had some family come in and at the
Gotcha.
last minute, so we had to reschedule.
Mm-hmm.
But that whole conversation is, something that's really difficult. It's women, especially Black women, dealing with infertility. And
Yes, it
there's-
is. I've
yeah.
heard a lot of stories because I was one of my daughters was premature, so she was almost 4 months premature. So as you dive into premature birth, then you start learning about infertility and different problems and issues that could come about, just all types of different challenges. So yes, it is a huge topic,
Yeah.
and everybody thinks that Black people could just have babies, and that's just
Right.
not the truth.
Yeah, and that's one of
Right.
the things that she and I had talked about before the idea of coming on the podcast was that, like, the stereotypes of Black women being, super fertile,
Right.
and, hypersexualized and everything else. So I think the conversation will kind of gear into more dynamics
Yes.
of being a Black woman, not just dealing with infertility, but there's really, what I learned from hers is really no outlet.
Right.
There's not a lot of support from people that look like you because it's almost like, what do you mean you can't have a baby?
Right.
We're built for that. And it's like, well, where does that idea even come from?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's kind of the idea behind the podcast too, is exploring things deeper than just the surface.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you listened to the episode where I had LaToya Gamble on. She runs her nonprofit, Heaven in Your Home,
Yes.
and she does a lot of work with homeless community.
Yes.
And just in that conversation, and I thought that I knew enough.
What- yeah.
But just things that we don't really process, like when you donate canned food, be considerate and buy the pop tops.
Yeah,
because
they may not have
everybody-
a-
right. Not
Yeah.
everybody has a can opener,
Right.
especially when you're in transition.
Yeah.
And I moved a couple of years ago, and I realized I didn't have a can opener. So I had tons of soup, and I couldn't make anything.
Right.
I couldn't make it because I didn't have a can opener, and every time I'd go to Target, I'd forget. So just in that little bit of space, when she said that, I was like, oh my gosh, it was like this huge flash went off of like, what else are we missing?
Yeah, we had this conversation. We have a nonprofit as well, Positive American Youth, but we have a food pantry. And I used to ride around, I still do, with socks in my car. And it's like, why do you have socks in your car? Like new packs of socks, right? And I say, okay, so if I see a person that's homeless and instead of giving them money, I give them socks. And they're like, I never thought about that. I'm like, yeah, because how are they going to clean or comfortable socks of the person on their feet all day is a commodity. Yeah, so I get it. I understand.
So you wouldn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like it's easier to just pass out food or,
Mm-hmm.
or give money and not, the basic things.
Yeah.
So I loved having LaToya on because she really did talk about there's so many other things that impact the homeless community that, I feel like doesn't really get addressed as much as it could. And there's a lot of organizations out there that work, but they're so disjointed.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of her missions now is to try to bring more local organizations together to try to act as
how it should be.
Unit.
Yeah, how it should be. I like what in the city of Atlanta, what Mayor Dickens is doing. He's creating like a website where all these nonprofits could come together, share information, and share resources, and it's in the digital space, so it kind of doesn't have a bound, which is pretty cool. Yeah. So yeah, I understand what you mean.
I hope that works. I hope people are learning.
Me too.
Working together
right.
can accomplish so much more.
Yeah.
It's very competitive out here.
It is. It is.
Tough.
But the best competition is like with yourself. That's the only person I compete with. So I'm not worried about how well somebody else is doing.
Right.
I'm just happy for them if we can do something together to equally benefit, mutually benefit, not equally, but mutually. It's great. It works out better that way.
Yeah, I agree. I'm always looking for that.
But that's because you work with companies all the time. You're helping companies, so that's like almost like a part of your DNA.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the company, it's still a person. The company is what houses everything.
Right.
I'm still dealing with people, and I have to remind myself of that a lot. Like especially when I'm prospecting, which is what I'm going through right now, is I'm, trying to drum up some business. Is reminding myself that it's a person first. I want the company. I want, that brand behind what I do, but it's still a one-on-one, process. There has to be a point guard and someone that can kind of bring you in. And one of the best contract jobs that I had was through that, just working with someone and, having her trust me enough to keep bringing me on board. And so
that's it.
Yeah, it's building those relationships and kind of putting yourself out there. For someone like me, that's extremely difficult to do. And I know other creatives are the same.
Right.
We come across, I think, very kind of, I don't want, for lack of a better word, arrogant because of the type of work that we do.
Yeah.
And because we're so behind the scenes and quiet. I think when people finally hear from us, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's very challenging because you have to constantly put yourself out there, and you have to learn that a no doesn't mean a no forever, and it's not a personal rejection.
Right. It's not personal.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's sales. A lot of creatives don't understand that a huge part of what we do is sales. You have to sell yourself. You have to sell a product. You have to sell a service. You have to sell trust. People have to trust your ability to do what they need you to do.
That's
in
true.
the time frame that they need you to do it in. And so there's a lot of these pieces that roll in together. Some days they're crushing, but you just have to keep pushing through and keep the dream in sight. Otherwise, it's easy to crumble. And
I got you. Well, you are keeping the dream alive. You're pushing. You're definitely pushing. I want to ask you a quick question because you said you have a superpower.
Oh my, yeah. I had to add some kind of sizzle in that bio.
It's sizzly.
A little bit of a sizzle. Because, I treated myself like a client too. If I was interviewing someone to help write their bio, you want to include something a little interesting that catches people off guard.
Yeah.
And yeah, it is. It's again, it's that arrogant thing. Like you don't want to say it, but it is a superpower.
But your superpower is still selfless at the same time.
You think so?
Yeah. So you help people see who they already are, the best version of themselves.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
You help them see the best version of themselves, but it's already who they are.
Right.
That is a great superpower.
Well, thank you.
I need that superpower. You know, if I had a superpower, I wish mine was already ironed man. Like if I never had to iron clothes ever. You know how much time you could save?
Yeah. You want a trick?
Please.
Your dryer.
Okay, talk
Just
to me.
Fluff it in there. Use the fluff setting.
Fluff
Sometimes-
set. I
yeah.
didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, I think every dryer has it. You can put it on the fluff, and it just kind of spins your clothes around, and it should iron it out. And if it like missed it a little bit,
Yeah. I heard that trick if I missed it and do low heat. So I guess that would be fluff.
yeah.
Look at
And that'll-
God. Look at
that'll
God
do it.
come through
Another
today.
trick is take your clothes out of the dryer while they're still warm and fold them and put them away.
Come on, Zoo.
Yeah.
Come on with the trick, Zoo. You just gave me my superpower. I like it.
Wow. I have a few more. I learned these little shortcuts because you don't.
Time
there's
is
only
of
so
the
much time.
essence. Yeah.
There's only so much time, and I spend a lot. I come from an immigrant family, and there's a lot of pride in ironing your clothes.
Yes.
Sundays were laundry days, like the whole day from
Okay.
7 a.m. till 7 p.m. We're doing laundry. You're ironing. You're getting ready for the week.
And it's all laid out.
It's all
so you
laid
learn
out.
early to get yourself together for the
Yes.
week, for the future.
Exactly. Instead
like
of
it.
doing it on a daily basis. And so my mom was really great with that. And it just kind of one of those things that was passed down, but now it's an annoyance. I want to iron all the
I
time.
want to iron all. I really literally drop my clothes off to get done. I have a whole washing machine.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't want to deal with that time. I just drop it off, pick it up, then I keep moving.
Yeah. Well, not all of us have that privilege. Some of us have to.
It's not privilege.
have
It's
to do
just
our
me
own.
just trying to hurry up.
No, I hear you.
I understand. So what is, okay, you just said something, immigrant family. Explain your, I've never heard this name before, but
Zuleica?
I really like it.
Thank you. It's actually Arabic. I'm Cape Verdean.
Okay.
Have you met? a
Yes,
Cape
my
Verdean
sister
before?
is.
Really?
Yes.
Get out.
Yep, from Ohio. Yep.
That's interesting. I think that's.
You
probably
guys
the-
might be related now because you're favor. That's crazy. I just thinking about the whole time, like, who does she look like? You look like
What's
Angel.
her name?
Angel or Green.
Angel. What's her
Or ORR and then Green.
Okay.
Yep.
So she's like second or third generation.
Yeah.
Okay. Is her mom or her dad Cape Verde?
Dad.
Dad's Cape Verde.
Yep.
In Ohio. That's interesting. I did hear there were a lot of migrations out in Ohio. I think during the farming years they had a lot of
Okay.
people come and end up over there. But yeah, I'm Cape Verde. I was actually born there.
Oh, okay.
I grew up in Boston. So I guess that makes me the immigrant too.
I understand.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I'm Cape Verdean. My name is Arabic, and my mom sacked me with that because I think she just wanted me to have more challenges in life.
That happens.
Yeah.
I know school was,
Oh my God. To this day, it's still,
nobody can pronounce it right the first time.
Americans have a hard time.
Yeah, Americans. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Very rarely do I meet anyone that's not American that has a hard time pronouncing my name.
Americans have a hard time with English, so I understand.
Yeah, I give people a lot of grace. I never expect someone to just get it off the try, but at least try.
I got it.
Yeah, EI.
I got you. I like it. Okay, let's get down to what we like to call the fast four questions. Are you ready? We have a bonus fast four question too because it's Women's
Do I
History
have
Month.
a choice?
You have a choice to do it or to do it fast. That's it. That's the choices.
I get told a lot that I talk really slow, so I don't know how fast this is going to go.
No, you don't talk slow. You actually are direct, which it helps, and you do word economy too. So okay,
I enunciate.
there we go. And it's Women's History Month. So what does the word woman mean to you?
What does the word woman mean to me?
First thought, but it doesn't have to be one word. It can be a sentence.
Resilient comes to mind.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
We'll run with that. All right, best beach you've ever visited.
best beach.
Yes, you look like you're well traveled.
Thank you. Not as much as I would love to. I need more trips in my life. Best beach I've been to. I don't remember the name of the beach, but it was a little secluded spot in Antigua.
Okay.
To walk through some trees, and it was eroding, but it was so peaceful. It was almost like a lagoon.
So you walk through the trees and then ta-da!
Yeah.
The beach.
Yeah, pretty much. There was no parking lot. You kind of have to drive through some, I think, was private property.
Okay.
I saw a goat give birth.
Wow, that's an
Yeah.
experience.
It was, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very fascinating. It was under a tree. And I
just-
thought something was wrong at first until I saw
What happened.
was happening. And so that was, just kept it moving.
Right.
Because I've been there. The
Give her
last thing you want
privacy.
is somebody all up in your business. And you're trying to
Right.
have another
Right,
thing.
more life.
Right, exactly.
I got you.
But yeah, maybe I'll have to look it up and see if I can find the name of the beach. It might not even be named because it's just one of those.
Yeah, it's there.
Right, it's where the locals go.
I got you.
Touristy.
Okay.
Long answer, but
No, I mean, that was a great answer. I never expected to have a goat birth walking through trees to a magical lagoon.
this is my
beach.
life. This
Right,
happens all
this
the
is
time.
your
I
life.
think everybody experiences things the way that I do until I tell my friends stories.
Right, then you're
and
like,
they're
that's not normal.
Only you,
Mm-hmm.
only you would be sitting at a coffee shop minding your business and meet an opera singer.
Right.
Does that? Yeah, it's always fascinating.
That's what I'm talking about. All right. If you could have 4 guests on your podcast, who would they be? Any 4
Any
guests.
4 guests?
Mm-hmm.
You,
Oh. I'll take it.
kind of the obligatory, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's quid pro quo. Oh my gosh, I was not ready for that one. Who would I have? Oh my gosh,
Who piques Zoo's interest enough to have a conversation?
does it have to be like a famous person?
It could be
Like
whoever.
someone
This is
with
your
knowledge?
list. It could be whoever you want it to be.
Okay.
Thank you for the invite, by the way.
Oh, I hope you take it. I really hadn't thought that much about it. I think it's, for me, it's having people on that have something they want to share. And I think they can help, so even if it's just one other person.
Right.
Because I know just from myself, I don't, I think we all go through things in life that we hope is for a reason, that it's not just for the sake of the experience, but that it can help you become a better person.
Right.
And I've had a bunch of things that I realized in sharing some of it that I'm able to help someone else kind of understand themselves
Okay.
and see maybe a struggle or a path through something.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I don't have any particular person in mind, but to invite onto the podcast. I've invited a few friends that I know have some great stories.
Okay.
And, do some great work.
Right.
But I think it's important to have people come on that are willing to be a little bit vulnerable, and share, stories about life. What it is to live their life and be who they are.
Right.
Because I think in everyone's story, there's something that someone else listening can take away. Even if it's just not feeling like you're going through something alone.
Right. Yeah, there's comfort in that and empathy. So yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I definitely get it. So you will not answer the question, but I
I
got
would
an
love
answer.
to answer the question. I don't have any names. I think usually when people get asked that question, your go-to is always a celebrity. Like, oh my
Right.
God, I'd love to have Michelle Obama.
No, but I make sense based
But I'm
on
like,
what you're saying. You like,
yeah.
I wanna feel a story or hear a conversation, and that kind of jolts the guest.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I want to meet people through
Yeah.
this process. People I don't know, and I want to hear, their stories and what their vision for the world is and for life. And
Right.
I think when we automatically go to a given, like a celebrity, like you hear their stories all the time.
Right.
This is what they do. They go
Right.
on circuits. And so is there going to be anything new? Can you actually relate to that person?
Right.
And no, it's inspirational, but is it aspirational? Is
Gotcha.
it really something you could see yourself doing? Just like if you're following a business person and they've got multiple businesses and they're bringing in $500 million and you're just getting started, that's not the person for you to follow, because it's going to affect your ego. It's going to affect your momentum.
That's what social media does a lot of times. Like you're watching highlight reel after highlight reel, but while you're living regular life. So
Right.
your wins don't even taste as nice as they really should.
Exactly, because you're looking at someone else and like, well, I should have that,
Right.
instead of seeing that where you are is where you are, and you should be able to celebrate the little things first. You can't go from 0 to 10 million overnight. You know, there's a process, and
if you do, you probably didn't want to do it that way.
Right.
Right.
And is it sustainable?
Right.
What have you learned through that? And so, you know, I talk about the whole smoke and mirrors of social media a lot with friends that are in business. And actually, I got corralled into doing a speaking thing a couple of weeks ago. My first one.
Really?
I was like,
you had the training.
Yeah. I don't know if I could call it that, but, you know, I asked her, I was like, are you sure about this? You know, I've never done this before. She's like, listen, I prayed on it and God told me it was you. Like, all right,
can't argue with that.
I'm not going to argue. Exactly.
Right.
I'm not going to argue with God. And so I did it. And one of the things that towards the end of that talk that just kind of came out was that, because these are businesswomen. And so they've been in business for a while. And it was that. It's that we're falling into this trap of social media and not really taking the time to see if even what you're looking at and who you're taking inspiration from is actually real.
Right.
A lot of these quote unquote business owners and entrepreneurs are just they're what's that word? They're influencers.
Yes.
You know? And so you're following advice from someone who has never run a business. Didn't start one, probably isn't doing it the way that businesses typically run. And so you're learning a process that isn't applicable to what you're trying to achieve.
Right.
But the lifestyle that's being projected is great. It's aspirational.
I've seen so many people post things and I go fact check them and I'm like, ooh, this is not right at all. But they had their influencers, like you said, they have a wide base. So it's like a lot of people may just take what they say as truth without doing their own research. It's just very dangerous.
It is very dangerous because, you know, you're buying all these programs and it's like, where did you get the information from? What knowledge do you have? And, you know, it's a weird world. And I had to kind of, the reason I even started bringing it up is because I had to check myself on that a little bit. You know, I don't follow a lot of people. Those that I do are people that I actually do admire and I know have gone through a lot of the trenches. There's the fun stuff, you know, there's the cutesy things. But you really have to be careful because it can mess with you.
It really can. I had to figure out how to switch my algorithm on Instagram. So now the only thing I look at all day is chicken videos.
Chicken videos.
I raise chickens, so.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not a huge chick. I just have a few backyard chickens. Yeah, but it's better than looking at people's highlight reels all day and then you get depressed about it.
Yeah. And I always wonder how many other people are out here that aren't thinking as, you know, they aren't as aware as, you know, you and I are about what the game is.
Right.
And, you know,
I get it.
And how they get sucked into it all.
Right.
You know, it's all about being flashy these days. And like,
it is.
You know,
unfortunately,
your fashion of the day and
right.
Like, I'm sorry, like
we need the substance too.
Yeah,
we got to get some kind of mixture to it.
Show the reality of it. You
yeah.
know, it's like I have an account now that I do social media for, and I try to create content for it, and how hard that is. And so when I'm watching these reels on social media, I'm like, I know what goes into the production of this.
Yeah.
And if you're running a real business, chances are this is going to be really, really hard to do all day, every day.
Yeah.
So, you know, take what you see with a grain of salt. And, yeah. It's entertainment. You know, that's how I have to remind myself.
It's
now when I'm
it's
on
a
there.
many TV shows. Yes, I
go
get it.
into it for entertainment. If you're looking for business advice, go to the library.
There you go. We'll take that. That's a quote for the day. All right. Since you mentioned salt, let's get to the next question. Favorite place to eat and where? This is a selfish question because I enjoy food.
Favorite place to eat? Ooh. I love the Hill. Serenbe.
Okay.
Have you been there?
No, I'm learning now.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites because I don't go out to eat a lot.
Okay.
And this one's a fairly recent one. I've been maybe 2 years now.
Okay.
3 years since I've been going there. I don't go as often as I would like to, but everything I've had there is amazing.
Okay.
The Hill. It's all farm to table.
Okay, so I like that. I know the food tastes different too, just because of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Really where is it?
It's Serenbe down in Palmetto.
Okay.
Chattahoochee Hills.
Yes.
I'm giving them a plug. So
you are. She needs a free food next time. I hope you're listening.
Yeah, and I go and I take great photos of their restaurant too. So they have a great brunch. their pizza is amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
I
the
like
best
a good
part.
pizza.
Yeah,
I'm
their
from Jersey,
their meat
so it's,
pizzas,
you know.
you'd love it.
Yeah.
It's really, really good.
Okay. All right.
Loaded with pepperoni.
We had a joke about pepperoni yesterday with my daughter. She thought the little things on the chicken's neck with pepperoni.
So cute. With the feathers or the...
It's called a waddle, but
Oh, it's a
yeah,
thing.
it's funny. Yeah. All right. One piece of advice you would give yourself at 21.
One piece of advice I'd give myself at 21. Don't be afraid to just try things. Don't let fear rule your decisions. Because there was a few opportunities I didn't take because I was afraid.
Okay.
And turned out what I was afraid of.
Wasn't worth being afraid of.
It wasn't worth being afraid of. And I probably missed out on a lot because of just being scared
Okay.
to say yes.
Take the leap.
Take the leap.
All right. There we go. I like it. Well, as we round out our show, we usually give you guys a piece of Reese's Piece of Mind of Pops Knows Best, but you just kind of gave us an intro to one right now. You're enough. For one, you are enough. Don't let these things, these false things you see on social media fool you. You are enough, so that you don't have to chase the Joneses per se.
Exactly.
There we go. All right, appreciate you guys tuning in. We're gonna get back to this mix right here. DJ OS right now is on deck. I want you guys to stay tuned. This is Reec Radio on Women's History Month. Thank you again, Zoo. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
this.